What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. In this box is the Athleta Array Treinamento, I'm going to totally screw that up, 005, which is their turf model. Very excited to get these on feet because I do play quite a bit of pickup on turf. So you get the normal Array logoing here on the top of the box, the Athleta logoing, of course, here on the side, really nice and large with the 3 stars. You've got the Athleta and Array logoing here as well. Athleta obviously being the brand, Array being the model or the style of shoe that they produce. Big Athleta logo there. And then as you can see, something a little bit different compared to my normal 9 US. These are a 26.5 centimeters as opposed to a 9 US, which is a 27 centimeters. So here you can see a US 8.5, and I go down half a size because of the way that Athleta boots fit. I actually have the Array T7s, which is of course their firm ground model, which I have worn quite a bit. I absolutely love these. Playtest coming soon, or I guess you'll see the playtest before you see this one, but as you guys know, I should say, I absolutely love these. These are like the wide foot king, so comfortable, lightweight, just no BS, and I'm hoping that the turf model will be very similar as well. So getting these unboxed straight away, you get the normal Athleta logoing here on the paper, which is really nice, and then getting them unboxed, here they are. Very nice. I love the look of the really shiny Athleta leather. I think that is super sweet. And then of course you have the AG or turf stud pattern, which is a little bit higher off the ground because it is a turf model. So these are meant for the really, really short turf pitches and ones that don't have any of the black or multicolored beads to them, like the rubber elements. This is more for like the indoor type football and stuff like that. So let's get the other one out of the box as well. There you go. There's that right shoe. Little Array logoing here in silver. I really like the color scheme of this one. It's very simple, no BS, but I really like this white leather with the silver accent marks. That looks really, really good. No string bag, unfortunately, in the box, but that is all good. Let's throw these ones down there and get a look at what the Athleta Array it's T-R-E-I-N-A-M-E-N toe. So as you guys can probably tell, I am very poor at trying to pronounce that. If you guys do know how to pronounce it correctly, let me know down in the comment section below. So I'm going to take these out really quick, and typical for Athleta, oh, if it's going to let me, it's caught on the laces. Let's get that out of the way. Boom, there we go. All right. Typical with the Athleta boots, really premium K leather here in the forefoot. You obviously have this little bit of texturing in and around the toe box area, which is very common for turf models from all the brands, regardless of what brand you look at. Most of their turf models will have that little extra seam here. That's mostly to protect the upper from splitting and also gives you a little bit of extra texturing when manipulating the ball as well. You can see that there's a textured seam here on the toe box as well, which is really going to give you a nice amount of security and durability through that toe box area. And then in the midfoot, so there's a seam right here, and then of course over on the other side, very, very similar to the placement of that leather on the normal firm ground model, which I have here as well. The seam splits the K leather from this synthetic microfiber leather, so it actually feels quite a bit like a normal leather midfoot, but this is a synthetic material with some padding on the inside as well, so you do get kind of a nice plush feeling in that midfoot area, which extends all the way through the heel. Same material here into the instep, nice and plush here on the instep as well. And similar to the firm ground as well, you do have the suede liner that goes all the way around the inside of the heel area. That's one thing that I think Athleta is taking a lot from the Mizuno and especially the Asics products, is the heel area on the Athleta Array is fantastic. And I'm hoping that the turf model here that we have, the 05, the Treinamento, is very, very similar to that. So anything, especially when you're playing on turf, a good heel area can really make the difference between a proper lockdown and not a proper lockdown. And then here in the tongue area, the tongue is actually quite thick. It's a really nice padded material. You've got suede, and I'll unlace these as I'm talking, but you've got a suede liner on the underside of the tongue area, not too dissimilar from that of the firm ground model, which I have here as well. But you do get a significant more padding on the instep, or excuse me, on the tongue area of the Treinamento, and that is just probably because it's an indoor football boot, so you don't really have to worry about weight all that much. So this material is a very soft suede, and then you have this kind of textured diamond stitching pattern with some nice padding there as well. So I imagine I'm gonna get a really nice and plush touch from this particular pair of turf model shoes. From the sole plate, it's very, very standard. I don't really expect there to be anything kind of crazy on these ones. I do actually have one of my favorite pairs of indoor shoes, which is the Mizuno Sala. These in particular are the Wave Cup edition Sala, so this is like a special kind of model as well, which I never did a review of. As you can see, the Sala has more of a I guess bladed or chevron or square type studs, whereas the Treinamento from Athleta has more of the circular stud. I really don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, although I will say that the Athleta's studs are definitely a bit longer than the Mizuno studs. So the Mizuno are super close to the ground. They're very, very, very barefoot feeling. I think some people actually have some stud pressure when it comes to the bottom of those Mizuno boots, and that's just sort of a personal preference. I really like them because it keeps me super low to the ground, whereas these feel like they have a little bit more robustness and might actually be just a little bit more comfortable in general, which is super cool. They also have a dual hardness insole, which is really nice. So you do get take this out there. And so you do have a really, really tough piece right on your, sort of your heel area there. And then overall, it's a fairly sticky material on the inside of the insole. So where your socks are going to go, I imagine grip socks are going to be really nice and complementary to those as well. And then of course the EVA synthetic midsole with the rubber outsole creates this really nice and pretty snappy sensation in hand, at least. So we'll see once we get these on feet what they feel like, but overall a pretty nicely constructed pair of turf model boots. Now, as you guys know, I really, really enjoy the T7. It's a boot that I hop in regularly given how comfortable it is and how my feet feel. The fact that they've put runner's knots on both is really good. They clearly understand that it's such a small thing to do, doesn't add any issues with durability, and it gives players the ability to really chop and change what kind of fit they're looking for, because that runner's knot does do such a nice job of bringing both of kind of the tips of the top of the lacing system really nice and tight, and kind of pulls your foot back into the heel area, which you can get on these as well. So I'm really hoping that the sensation playing in both of them is going to be pretty similar. I imagine that this is just going to be pure comfort and just an absolute joy to wear. Maybe it's a coaching shoe for me. I might actually do some stuff there. It might be a pickup type shoe as well, although I do really like those Mizunos because they're so raw and so thin, as you guys know from the Mizuno Sala review, which is that white and kind of orangey red colorway. It's probably going to be between these and those for my indoor pickup sessions. But as I said, Athleta has really, really surprised me with the quality of their leather. It feels super nice. It's definitely on par with the top end Asics boots. And I would even stretch to say that this K leather is almost as soft as the Mizuno made in Japan stuff, which is super impressive. So without further ado, let's get these on feet, and I'll show you guys what they feel like, what the sizing is like, and of course, whether you should pick up a pair of these from the trusty source, Tokyo Football. All right, guys, back here in the backyard with the Array Treinamento 05 or 005. I'm actually quite excited to try these on because these are a pair of football boots that were given to me by Tokyo Football along with the Array T7 which is one of my favorite boots right now, and I think they are absolutely the wide foot king, so to speak. They are amazing for wide feet. They fit super comfortably. Leather quality is incredible, and these are obviously the turf model of those. So without further ado, let's get into the on-feet portion. So very nice, and this is actually the type of surface that I would expect you to wear a boot like this with the turf model on, as opposed to a normal pair of firm ground cleats. Now, first thing, even before I put my foot in, what I'm noticing is this insole that I took out earlier is actually quite sticky on the bottom. And so that, in combination with the WeFoot grip socks that I have on, which you can find 20% down in the description box below, a little discount code for you. The combination of those two things, oh, very nice, creates a really nice kind of sticky feeling underfoot, which is great. You really want that from a lockdown perspective. Now, the boots fit super comfortably straight out of the box. I like the way that this forefoot feels sizing with the going half a size down fits perfectly. I would definitely recommend going half a size down based on your US sizing. And that will obviously reflect in the size guide on my website that you can pick up as well for free. So getting these tied up. You do have as well an extra lace loop here, so if in case I did break them in a little bit and I wanted to get a little more lockdown, I definitely could, but really, really comfy straight away. I'm definitely going to be rocking these in some pickup matches and maybe for some coaching as well, because those feel super comfortable on feet, which is a great sign, especially for a brand like Athleta, who are pretty, how do I say? They're definitely more regional than most other bigger brands. So even brands like Mizuno, who are starting to break out into the American market and the European market, Athleta is definitely behind them as far as that goes, but the quality seems to be pretty close, especially in that forefoot. That leather quality is really, really nice, super comfortable straight out of the box. So that's what they look like. Heel area feels good as well. It's got that nice suede heel liner, which feels great. Athleta does a great job, as I said before, similar to how Mizuno and Asics do from the heel standpoint, which really makes the experience of lockdown much better in a boot like this. Now, from a traction perspective, I'm not noticing too much in comparison to the Mizuno Salas that I also really enjoy wearing. So for me, it's really not going to make that much of a difference as far as picking between the two. It's more going to be, okay, how do these perform? How do these, you know, what's the lockdown like in a performance-like scenario? But here's what the boots look like on feet, full length. I really like them. Again, classic look, all white with the silver accents. Manipulating the ball, obviously, with a turf shoe is so awesome because you do kind of have that really sticky, like full sticky feeling underneath your foot. And touching the ball, per what I had thought, is really, really nice. You can notice as well the tongue on these actually fits really nicely, has a very plush feeling. It does have that suede underside, so it's not going to slide back and forth, but the padding of that tongue area feels really, really good. So this area here, you actually get quite a lot of padding there through this lacing system area. And then this area here in the midfoot on both lateral and medial sides also feels really, really nice. And then you've got that pretty similar padded feeling, but the plushness of this leather is really, really sweet. So overall, honestly, like, not much to say about these other than they're fantastic. They feel great. They're absolutely suitable for really wide foot shapes as well. So if you're on the market for something like this, that's a little bit more of a turf shoe, maybe you're somebody who plays the majority of the time on turf like this, where it's like more like carpet than it is like turf, would highly recommend these boots. You can pick them up on the Athleta website, or you can pick them up at tokyofootball.sg on Instagram, or their website, which you can find on Instagram as well. But super, super comfortable. Like, I think I prefer the FG model just because it does have some of that midfoot tech that's going to be a little bit more locked in. It feels a little bit more secure around my midfoot, but from a turf perspective, like, most turf boots are kind of whatever, and they work or they they either fit or they don't, and then they'll perform however they perform, really, is my thing. I know you could get a lot more technical with it, but for somebody like me who's a large, like an 11v11 player, not a 6-a-side or 5-a-side player, that's kind of what matters to me. And so comfort, 10 out of 10 straight out of the box. So comfortable. I could easily go and play in a training session right now, go knock it around with friends, and definitely feel super comfortable. So from being low to the ground, these definitely feel a little bit more cushioned as well compared to the Mizuno Solas. And so if you're somebody who maybe has like plantar fasciitis, or you have issues with your feet and you want something a little bit off the ground as opposed to the Mizunos, which literally feel like you're playing barefoot, which is also a good thing if that's what you're into, I would highly recommend these if you want something a little bit off the ground, because then you'll get all the nice ball feel like underfoot, you'll get the nice leather feel on the leather, you'll get the passing feel, all that stuff that you get with the Mizunos, except you're gonna have a little bit of a nicer and more plush feel underfoot because the sole plate, both the outsole and the midsole, are a little bit thicker on these ones compared to those Mizunos. So for me, massive contender. I'm absolutely gonna be rocking these. You probably won't see a play test or anything just because they are turf shoes, but would highly recommend picking up a pair. Remember, go half the size down. And then the Mizunos obviously go true to size, so to get kind of the best fit from a length perspective, and then they'll really fit most foot shapes from a width perspective as well, which is huge. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. That's gonna wrap up today's video on the Athleta Array Treinamento 05. Again, apologies if I've completely butchered that name. Let me know in the comment section below how you do pronounce it. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.